Big goal of the press conference for the president to advance his campaign to delegitimize the mainstream media, show his supporters he's taking them on.
Many of our nation's reporters and folks will not tell you the truth. It's all fake news. It's all fake news. Russia is fake news. This is fake news put out by the media. The public doesn't believe you people anymore. No, the reporting is fake. But I want to just tell you, the false reporting by the media, by you people, the false, horrible, fake reporting makes it much harder to make a deal with Russia.
Okay, let's start our roundtable right now. Our senior White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega, our political analyst, Matthew Dowd, and Amy Holmes, political analyst for Rasmussen. Reports, thanks for coming in. The president has also tweeted this morning. He said, thank you for the nice statements. Rush Limbaugh said one of the greatest ever. Fake media, not happy. So the president had a strategy here. Did he succeed?
If it was to get everybody focused on and talking about him and having everybody analyze him, he did succeed in that. I think my view of this is, if you take a look at what the country thought of this, 25% of the country who loves Trump love that because it was a total assembly of him in all his glory. 25% of the country who hates Trump hated that and was probably aghast at it. And 50% of the country where they are was probably concerned, a little bit confused, and probably slightly nervous in the aftermath of that.
He certainly seemed to love it.
And he said so. He said he's having a great time. I think the key is what he said at the very beginning, that he was trying to reach the American people with the press just present, basically relegating them to nattering nabobs of negativity. I think that he did succeed, however, in showing his toughness, and that's one of the great strengths that he had during the campaign, and one of the things that his voters liked most about him, and it's his willingness to take on the mainstream media.
And one of the things that was clear, Cecilia, is that he definitely wanted to take control of this narrative. He sees himself getting pummeled every single day. His suggestions to the White House in chaos. He said, I'm going to go do this myself.
And this press conference came in the wake of a series of really bad stories for this White House. The big one yesterday being that the White House was in turmoil. He wanted to change that narrative. But let's not forget, Donald Trump ran on being an unconventional candidate, and that is exactly what we saw. So I totally agree. I think supporters of his will eat this up and love it. But let's also go back to the business at hand. Donald Trump was there to announce a new Labor Secretary that got just a handful of seconds during this press conference. I do still think there are a number of questions about Russia and contacts that the campaign and surrogates of his have had with Russia that still remain unanswered. But let's give it to him. There were a number of questions that were answered from everybody in that room, and Donald Trump had been criticized leading up to this for not taking serious questions from mainstream media, and he certainly did that yesterday.
He took all the questions, no question about that, but Matthew, did he advance his agenda at all?
No, because I think that if you think about the person in Michigan or the person in Ohio that's worried about their job and voted for him reluctantly, I mean, keep in mind 46% of the country voted for him, but about a quarter of those voters thought he was unqualified to be president and didn't have the temperament. They want to see somebody that's going to advance the ball for them and be presidential. Coming away from that press conference, that 25% of the people that voted for him are not going to feel more comfortable about him in the aftermath.
Yeah, he complains about not getting focused on, the media not focusing on things like he does with Boeing and Carrier, getting the jobs, but all of that talk gets in the way.
Right, and I would say that, there is a tendency to step on his own message when he's addressing 1,000 things over 77.
He's all the time.
Well, there is that, and I do appreciate that at the beginning of his press conference, he went through what he's accomplished, what he's done through executive orders and decrees and so forth. But again, what are we talking about? We're being theater critics instead of looking at the substance of the policies.
Here was the moment to me that in some ways was the most remarkable moment in the press conference. The president talking about that Russian ship patrolling off our shores.
The greatest thing I could do is shoot that ship that's 30 miles offshore right out of the water. Everyone in this country is going to say, oh, it's so great. That's not great. That's not great. I would love to be able to get along with Russia.
Kind of an astonishing thing. One, that the president would think everybody would say was great. Two, sort of forgetting the idea that it would start a major war with Russia.
That you could make a comment about blowing up a Russian ship 30 miles off the eastern seaboard with a quip, I think, have a lot of people scratching their heads this morning as like blowing, literally and figuratively blowing off a comment like that.
It was a popcorn-worthy press conference. You have to admit, it was an unbelievable expose of Donald Trump.
And they said the president loved it. We may be seeing more. Thank you all very much.